Hey, what's up? Let's do some math today. In this video, we're going to talk about adding and subtracting rational numbers. Now, before I get any further into this, just a little bit of a warning. You should be able to do these problems here with minimal effort. All right, so take a quick look at them and see if you know how to find the answers. Okay, if not, I'm going to suggest that you pause this video and you go to a different video where I explain how to do this with just whole numbers, because when we're doing this with rational numbers, we're going to throw decimals and fractions into the mix, and you got to be able to do this in order to do that. So just really quickly, the answers, this one is 8, because if we have back-to-back negatives, it becomes a plus sign. This one's going to be -8, because we have a number line. We're starting at -5. -3 means we go to the left 3 spots. This is how we got -8. And then this one would be -2. Similar idea, we're at -5, but now we're going to go to the right 3 spots to get our answer. So again, if you feel confident with this, let's rock and roll and let's do some more math. If not, pause and let's focus on these skills first. So now, to the rational numbers. Let's talk about the process. One thing that's huge is this stuff right here. Making sure that we know if it's going to be getting bigger or smaller, and if it's positive or negative. Like this part is huge. You should be asking yourself that question right off the bat. Now, in order to help you do that, I'm going to suggest you use a number line. A number line is really going to help you with whether or not it's positive or negative, and if your answer is getting bigger or smaller. Now, that being said, we have 3 types, technically 4 types of problems that we'll see, but you'll see the 4th one why we don't even have to talk about it. So the first one is going to be something like this, where we have 1 minus 1.5. The second one is going to be something like this, 1.5 plus -1. Number 3 is going to be -1 minus 1.5. And then number 4, the one we're not going to talk about, is just where they're both positive and you're adding them together. That you should be able to do anyway, so we're not going to talk about that one. But here, let's talk about these other problems and the process for going about solving them. So one thing we want to do, again, is always start off with this idea. Is our answer going to be positive or negative? Well, let's use a number line to help us determine that. We're going to start at 1, and we're subtracting 1.5, meaning we're going to the left. And we're going further than 1, so we're going to go past 0, and we will be in negative land. Now, here's the thing. For these two right here, since our signs are different, so like that's negative and this is positive, and same thing here, positive, negative, what we're going to do is find the difference between these two numbers. But we're going to treat them both like positive numbers. All right? I'll explain in more detail later, but right now what we're going to do is go 1.5 minus 1. We're going to take the larger number, the larger absolute value, put that on top, the smaller number on the bottom, and then we'll crunch our numbers. But here's the thing. We know our answer's got to be negative. So it's going to be negative 0.5 for the final answer. Here, it's going to be similar. We're starting at 1.5, but we're going to go to the left only 1. We're going to stay in positive land. So it's going to be a positive number, but since we have different signs, we're going to go with 1.5 minus 1, which is 0.5. Box it, walk away, because we said it's going to be positive. Now here, what we're going to do is, again, first determine, is it a positive or a negative number? Number lines help out with that. Here's 0, here's -1, and if we're subtracting, we're going to the left, so we're going to get something that's even more negative. But notice how both of these numbers are negative. If that's the case, then what we're going to do is we're going to add their values together. We'll go 1.5 plus 1, and that's going to get us 2.5. Now, we forgot to adjust this. Seeing how this one's going further left, it's going to be negative. So it's going to be negative 2.5 for our final answer. Now let's sum all this up with one of the smarter things I've said by accident. It happened one day in a classroom, totally awesome. And this is what it is. Different signs, difference. Difference, that's how we spell that. Okay, now this is assuming that you've already thought about, is it positive or negative? Then, again, same thing. Is your answer going to be positive or negative? Same signs, sum. So that means here you're going to subtract the two numbers. Here you add the two numbers. Then you go back to the answer of this question and you apply the appropriate sign, positive or negative. So now let's do some more examples, but with more complicated numbers. All right, here we go. Let's go with blue. All right, we have negative 8.4 plus 5.3. So first thing I'm going to do is ask myself, am I going to have a positive or a negative number? Since negative 8.4 is further from 0 than 5.3, it's negative. I'm also noticing that I have different signs. So different signs means I'm going to find the difference between the two numbers. So I'll take 8.4 minus 5.3. Subtract them, and this really helps out with the decimal component. Otherwise, it can be really tricky to try to figure out what the decimals are going to be here. So I'll get 3.1. Now the thing is, go back to this. I said my answer is going to be negative, so it's going to be negative 3.1. Box it, walk away. Let's look at this one. Now, before we get into this one, what I want to do is address this. Back-to-back negatives means that we're going to actually turn this into a plus sign. So I'm looking at negative 11.9 plus 20.4. So make sure you take care of this before you do anything else. Cleaning it, this is essentially like cleaning it up. Now again, what I'm seeing is, well, first of all, we're going to have positive or negative. I'm going to have a positive number. 20 is larger than negative 12-ish, so it's going to be positive. Again, I have different signs. I have a negative sign here and I have a positive sign there. So that means it's going to end up being a difference. 20.4 minus 11.9. Again, here's where we can do our decimal arithmetic to kind of figure out what this should be. Make this 14. This becomes 19. So we'll have 5, 8, 0. So just 8.5. And since we said it's going to be positive, it's positive 8.5. We box it, we walk away. Now, we're also going to have to deal with this with fractions, but again, the process is the same. What we're doing is we're just layering several different concepts together. Excuse me. We're going to layer our fraction arithmetic with our understanding of positive and negative numbers. Just the same thing. So, let's go new color. Let's say, so first of all, is it positive or is it negative? Ask that question. Now, a number line can be helpful here. Here's 0, here's negative 5, 6. We're subtracting, so we're going to go this way. So what I'm seeing is a negative answer. Now, I also see that we have a negative sign, a negative sign. Same sign means we'll find the sum of these numbers. So I will go 5, 6 plus 7 over 4. I'll have to get a common denominator, which is 12. And when I then apply that to my numerators, I'll get 10 over 12 and 21 over 12. So I'll end up getting, when I add them together, 31 over 12. Oops. There we go. Now again, I said my answer is negative. So the final step is to slap a negative sign on it and box it, walk away. Finally, let's take a look at this one right here. Negative 5, 6, and 7 fourths. Let's go back to red. Again, ask positive, negative. The number line is your friend here. So here's 0, negative 5, 6. Now we're going over this way, 7 fourths. 7 fourths is larger than 1, so it's definitely going to move us to positive land. So our answer will be positive. We have different signs, so that means that we're going to find the difference. In other words, subtract the two from each other. So I'll go 7 fourths minus 5, 6. I'll have to get a common denominator, but we kind of did that already here, so we can cheat a little bit. 21 over 12 minus 10 over 12, which will give us 11 over 12. And again, we said that the answer is going to be positive, so we can leave it as is, box it, and walk away. And so this is how we add and subtract rational numbers. Now, just to kind of, I won't do an example of it, but just to kind of point it out there, if we had a problem that was something like 1/3 minus 2/5 plus 5/6, what we would do is focus on two of them at one time and then move on to the third one after that. So it's all about working two at a time from left to right. But besides that, good luck on your practice and let me know if you have any questions.